What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show is Joy of Problems. Ooh. But before we get to the show, I'd like to tell a little bit about myself. I'm a medical doctor. My education was born in Russia, came to America, but I quit traditional medicine. And now I am certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, 3-day body facilitator with them, have multiple certification with them, as well as Akashic Record teacher, consultant, and founder of School of Akashic School of Creation. And I facilitate classes around the world, do private sessions, online, in person. And what I noticed, it's about changing people's lives. And now being a podcast host and published author, I can see where I was functioning from, let's say, not the infinite possibilities, but from the joy of problems. So how many people are complaining about their problems? Are you one of them? Have you been able to change your problems? What if you're not able to change some of them because you actually enjoy solving problems or enjoy having problems and have some kind of joy from having them? Let us play with those crazy ideas. I know they sound very crazy, and see if we can change some of the things in our lives. This is what I found is when I facilitate classes, when I do podcasts, it's a lot about me. I'm very selfish. I do this work, this play, just because it helps me. If you choose to help yourself, that's wonderful. But it's more about me. And how much are we refusing that? How much are we actually in the function of, I need to help her, I need to help him, and forget about us? And how much of that are actually creating problems? Because it's much easier helping other people with their problems, right? Mhm. I know that. I've done it, been there, have a t-shirt to show for it. Well, maybe not t-shirt, but you know what I mean. So with joy of problems, ever since we were kids, we always were taught to solve problems, right? Um, you have to find the answer. You have to solve mathematical problems. You have to solve chemistry problems. I mean, it was always about solving problems. And how much joy did you get as a kid when you solved puzzles, when you solved your homework? It was wonderful. You get an A, you got an amazing grade, you get an excellent grade. Or when you failed, that was kind of like not so pleasant. So how much have we been entrained to solving problems? But because we entrain solving problems, how many of us are actually enjoying that? And by virtue of that, unconsciously creating problems. I know I've been one of them. Seriously. I've created so many problems in my life, solved majority of them. I was miserable, but yet I was happy in my misery because I didn't know anything else. So what if it's not a wrongness? What if it was what was before? What if that was not changing stuff in our lives because we're so entrained, so engrossed in solving problems? who would we be without solving problems? Seriously. Like, look at that question. Who would you be if you had everything figured out? Everything would be wonderful. Everything would be as it should, and the life would be is joy and glory. Who would you be? A lot of people would say, oh, that might be boring. What if it's not? What if it's the biggest lie that's been perpetrated on us, that if you don't have any problems, you will be bored? What if instead of solving problems, we can choose to create, basically to create? Yeah, it's not create something, it's just to create our lives, create our future, create a different reality on planet Earth. Because look at the world right now. There's a lot of problems. There are certain parts where the war is threatening. There are certain parts where there is hunger. There is certain parts where it's the disease. And people are trying to solve those problems. And they are so engrossed in that. All their time is devoted to solving those problems. What if there was no world hunger? What if Earth was self-sustaining and all we had to do was just create a different reality and create life? Because how much of us, by creating problems, are actually killing our body? I know I was. At age of 37, I ended up with open heart surgery because I was solving so many problems that I couldn't even solve. Some of the problems that I was trying to solve didn't even belong to me. Oh, that actually brings me to amazing tool. Who does it belong to? And is it relevant to me? Because how many of problems in your life are actually yours? Just for a second, look at everything around you in your life, the problems that you're solving. How many of them are truly, truly yours, truly belong to you and totally relevant to you? For majority of those problems are about other people. Maybe somebody in a hospital, somebody in trouble, your kids in trouble, your parents being sick. All of that, you say, but it's my problem. I need to solve it. I need to make sure that my kids are taken care of. I need to take care of my parents. But what if you look at that? You still might solve them, but without the emotional charge. Because I don't know about you, but all my life, when I had problems in my life, there was so much emotions, feelings, and thoughts stuck there. I would try to solve it in my mind. I would be upset about the problem. I would have so many like emotions going on at the same time. And that's what was creating stress. Not the problem themselves, but everything around it. So when we're stressed, we're actually killing our body. All those negative emotions, all those negative feelings or thoughts, they create the hormonal imbalances that create so much shit in our bodies, from blindness, deafness, and death to just simply uncomfortable. How many of us just have pains and aches, and some of them we don't even know where they're coming from because, oh, wait, because they're not ours. Because we're perceiving the world around us and make the problems ours. We make everything about us. when I started Access and I learned about the tool, who does it belong to, it was funny. I would ask my daughter, who does this belong to? She's like, mine. And it took, I think, a couple of years before she actually looked at me. It's like, and I didn't even ask the question. It was about the thought process. And she looked at me. It's like, Mom, I now am getting what who does it belong to, because that thought in my head definitely did not belong to me. And that's how we know. When we ask a question, who does it belong to? If it lightened up or disappears, that's not ours. If we ask about the problem and the problem disappears, guess what? That wasn't relevant to us. Because a lot of problems are not even the problems. And how many of those problems, and if you're just listening, not watching me, I did an air quotes, problems in air quotes, a lot of them are just kind of like things that we created. We create everything from little things to major things, from good things to bad things to ugly things, all of it by our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Years ago, I did creative visualization. I actually started very young. I seriously started yoga at 11 and meditation at 12 or 13. So by age of 18 or 19, I was doing creative visualization. And I remember listening and hearing that we create everything. We can create from desire, or we can create from fear or from something we don't want. And it's funny how time flies. It's time for our first break of the show. When we return, we'll talk about how we create problems from fear and desiring the opposite when we come back. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. We will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is joy of problems. And before we went on a break, we were talking about that We create our problems, we create everything in our lives, good, bad, and ugly, and we can create from desire, or we can create from fears or whatever. So let's look at that. The universe doesn't have polarity. The only polarity is in our physical world, in our mind, in this reality where there is positive, negative charge, there is right, wrong, there is good and bad, there is black and white, there is man and woman. Everything is opposite. And it's not the wrongness, it's just what is. And yet, that's what holds our problems in place. And that's how we create that. Because we either desire something, or we afraid we will not get it, or we're afraid that we'll get it, or it's something like we're afraid that it might happen. All of it is just another program algorithm running our lives. Because universe looks at that and it's like, oh, I I don't want this. The universe, because it doesn't have polarity, does not hear the word no. It's kind of like, oh, you desire it here. Um, just like desires, it's like, I'd like that here. Because for the universe, there is no difference. You want it, you're afraid it, you resist it, you react to that. It doesn't matter. You're asking for it. And they ask in the form of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Very simple. Or words like saying things like, I don't want to live like that. Guess what the universe hears? Oh, you'd like to die. Cool. Let's create major illness, heart disease, cancer, etc. Because that's what happened to me. Well, not happened, I chose it. Because I was in a situation, marriage was not good, quote unquote, again, air quotes. I basically was married to a drug addict. And my office was so busy, medical practice, because I'm a physician. So the medical practice was, when I sold it, actually was equivalent to 5 physician practices. And I was just by myself. Eventually I got an assistant, but it still was overwhelming for both of us. And small child and all of that. None of them were problems, but I decided they were problems. And I didn't want to live like that. And I don't remember saying that, but the energy was there. I did not like my life. And I was doing a lot of energy work, and I kind of like was looking at stuff, and I was aware I needed to leave my practice. I needed to leave my marriage. I wasn't willing to do that at that time because somehow, somewhere, I liked complaining about what I had, what the problems I had, and how miserable I was. It just was an excuse of not getting more conscious. The universe have different plans, and because I asked, of course, you don't want to live like that? Here is a heart disease. In the middle of that, when I realized that's what I was creating, I was like, no, 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 no. So let's do open heart surgery. And then complication after complications, I still was not choosing to be alive. And then I remember a moment, because it's all about the choice. Because you either enjoy your problems or you choose something different. And I remember sitting outside, and it was a beautiful day. The earth was talking. There was a little man-made waterfall outside. So I could hear the sounds of water running, and At that moment, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I creating? I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm done creating death, creating illnesses, creating all of that. I'd like to stay alive. And things started shifting. Universe, of course, it's like, oh, you changed your mind? Cool, let's do something different. I got divorced, sold my practice, and started doing all those energy transformational systems much more serious. Went to college and did my associate in fine arts, became a painter, an artist, and I did a lot of ceramics. Yet, with all of that, I would go kind of like back to the old positions of creating problems. Because, yeah, I would get out of it and I would get into a relationship that wasn't working and I wasn't willing to leave the relationship. So I would create something with my body. All of it was that joy of problems. I'm not talking about joy like happiness, because you can, like some people, like masochists, they enjoy pain. So, how many of you actually enjoy the suffering? And I'm not saying it's a wrongness, though you might take it that it's a wrongness. No, it's just what is. And unless we look at what is, we cannot change it. I'm going to say it again. Unless we became aware of what is in front of us, what's true, we cannot change the situation, we cannot solve the problem. Because a lot of times, things around the problem, we have imagined things, we read into the story. Let's say a problem with a relationship, because that's one of the most common problems. So you have a problem, let's say, with your spouse or with boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, or even with a friend. Where is that problem? What is there? Unless you see what's true, you cannot solve it. So, because let's say in my marriage, the first marriage, my husband was cheating on me. So he wasn't even present in the relationship, but neither was I. I'm not even sure who left the relationship first. But the result was we were growing apart. To me, it was a problem. For him, probably not. It's always about like what's in front of you. I was not willing to see what's true. I was trying to solve it through psychologists, through energy work. It wasn't working. Eventually, it ended up in divorce because I wasn't willing to see what's in front of me. And that's my invitation. Look at what's in front of you. If it's a problem, if it's something, if it's illness, if it's money problem, look at what underneath that. What is creating it? Because a lot of times it's totally not what we think. It might be some point of view we have from childhood. It might be point of view from previous lifetime. Might be not even ours. Oh wait, 99% of things that in our lives do not belong to us. 99% of the problems are not even relevant to us. But we enjoy calling it ours because we have something to do. How many of you would be out of, like as I said, bored in the first part if you didn't have your problems to solve? And again, my invitation is, what if it's a lie? How much more can you create in the world if you didn't have problems? if you had millions or billions of dollars, if you didn't have the problem with money, if you didn't have the problem with relationships, if you didn't have the problem with health, because those are the major three things why people cannot do something, including consciousness or creating different reality in the world, are don't have money, don't have time, and sick. Those are three major problems. And how many of those are creation that we created as an excuse not to grow and not to be us? Because it's not about change. That's one thing I'd like to invite you to realize, that number one, we are infinite being with infinite possibilities. And we already kind of like perfect the way we are. All the problems, all the things, as I said, do not belong to us, or they're not us. It's an inventions and kind of like roles we take. Each lifetime is just another play in a divine comedy, as I call it, or other people called it before. We're just playing another role. Maybe a hero, or maybe a damsel in distress, a princess, or a thief, or it doesn't matter what role we play. Are we actually those roles? Or are we the infinite being with infinite possibilities? And that we are greater than anything we could imagine. But those boxes that we put ourselves in, they separate us from who we are. What if by letting go of our problems, we actually can let go of those boxes? Or maybe it's the other way around. If we let go of the boxes, the problems will go away. It doesn't matter where you start. It's all about choice. What if you choose something different? It's not about changing. Because I know a lot of modalities talk about, oh, you need to improve, like self-improvement books. What if we don't have to improve, but let go of the junk that we picked up? And it's time for our second break of the show. I almost said third. No, it's a second break. And when we return, we'll talk more about different realities with the problems, different choices we can make. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is Joy of Problems, and we have a little guest. We have Bella sitting on my lap right now and purring because she doesn't have problems. To her, feed me, and she gets fed. She actually chose not to have problems. What's funny, because I found her, well, not me personally, but my daughter found Bella on the streets of Chicago. She followed her because she didn't like having problems of finding food, cold, because it was actually getting cold. She was born in the spring, summer. We don't know exactly when she was born, but probably like in May or around that time. She found her at the end of October. It was getting cold. So Bella looked at that. It's like, not my problem. I'm going to have an owner, or actually I'll own those humans. I like them. And I know they will feed me. I know they will shelter me, and they'll take care of me. How many of us are refusing to be taken care of by people, by the universe? We decided that we are so independent, but part of it, we do love our problems. We love the story. We love being the victim. Because if you didn't, what would you talk about? It was funny because a few years ago, when I started Access about 10 years ago, and Access Consciousness, and things shifted. And a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I was with a friend, and she was telling me about her problems, about stuff. And she asked me, it's like, so how is your life? I'm like, it's wonderful. I'm traveling. She's like, wait, what's your problems? I'm like, I don't have problems. Because at that moment, number one, nothing was a problem because everything can be changed because we can choose something different. It's more about how you look at the world. Our point of view creates our reality. I'm going to say it again. Our point of view creates, it's actually a quote from Gary Douglas, but it's also from other modalities, from creative visualization. Because whatever we believe in, it shows up. There is an amazing book by Mark Twain, Mysterious Stranger. And I talk about that a lot. I read it as a kid. I never reread it, but I still remember how, I think it was that devil or somebody like that, or Lucifer, or whoever, he took the boy above earth he showed him this reality and told him, this is all your creation. Your imagination created all of this. Because the world is just kind of like a sum of all our points of view. Whatever we put out into the universe starts creating. If we put into the universe fears, it comes as something we're afraid of. If we put out gratitude, love, trust, that's what comes and creates a different reality. That what creates more of that. So what if we start creating with gratitude, with love, and it starts with us. It doesn't have to be, you have to find somebody to love. And by the way, that love, oh God, it's more like an implant than actual love. Because I'm talking about unconditional love. When we have love with people, it's always conditional. If you do this, then I love you. Even as kids, if you didn't do like your mother told you, it's like you would feel the punishment, discipline, whatever it was, but it didn't feel like love. So a lot of people kind of like learn as kids that love was abuse. They totally misidentify it because I'm disciplining you, I'm hitting you because I love you, is a huge part of certain cultures or certain kind of like families. My father did that, I'm doing it to you because I love you. Or my mother did it to me, I'm doing it because I love you. And the child learns that's what love is. Or when they have so many problems, parents, and I call it psychological abuse or financial abuse, when they say, oh, those problems are because of you. And then you buy it and start creating the same thing because you don't want to be different than your family. How many of you don't want to out-create your families? Because a lot of families, they have certain mentality. And if you be different, you don't relate to them or they don't relate to you. And then there's a fear of being alone. What if all of that are lies? Actually, it is. Because, there is an amazing tool in Access Consciousness, light and heavy. Whatever is true will make you feel light and expanding. Whatever is heavy will make you feel contracted, heavy, and it is a lie. Lies are always heavy and contracting. Truth is always light and expanding. Each person has different sense of it. But just for a second, to demonstrate, it's very easy. Just imagine you are in nature, on the beach or in the forest and woods, but where there are no people. You and nature, that's it. Maybe hiking a tree, maybe swimming in the ocean with dolphins. Dolphins don't lie either, but not in dolphinarium, please. No, not in those things where they are prisoners of war, as I call them. But so just see yourself there. Feel how your body feels. Sense the nature. It's very light, right? Now erase that and think of somebody who lied to you or betrayed you. Doesn't matter if it was yesterday or a year ago. Just bring that energy. sense it, feel it. That's what lies feel. And now erase that. Let it go. We don't have to hold on to the lies. Now, look at the problems in your life. Pick one. Is it light or heavy? I'm sensing heaviness, very heavy. So is it true or is it a lie, an invention? Heavy. Yeah, it's heavy because it's a lie. What if you let go of that? What if we kind of like let go of all the lies that's connected? Because a lot of times the problem is not the problem, it's all the lies around what we call a problem. Because think about, let's say somebody lost a job. If they look at that as a problem, what happens? Oh, I will not find another job. That was such a good job. Now I don't have money. And then the lies pile and pile and pile and pile on. Instead, oh, I lost a job. Huh. What is that? What do I do with it? Can I change it? Oh, yeah, I can change it. I can find another job. Cool. And what else is possible? So when we start using the tools, we actually see what's underneath that. You got chills in your body. Yeah, thank you. That's how the energy moves, because a lot of times we shift and change energetically. Nothing is solid in our lives, including our body. But we make it solid, just like we're making problems solid. None of the problems are solid, just like I said, with losing a job. A lot of people looking back, oh, that was the best thing ever. Just like my surgery. People say, oh my God, you have heart disease. Oh, you had open heart surgery, you had bypass. Oh, at 37, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm so grateful for that. Thank God. Thank you, universe. It was such a gift. Well, while I was going through that, I didn't know. And yes, I looked at that as a problem. And yes, I solidified. I didn't have the tools at that time. And yet right now I'm looking at it, it was the best thing that could possibly happen to me, or the best thing I could have created, because it's changed my life. Because I could not even imagine my life now compared to what I was less than that, when I had my practice. Because it was so different. Right now I'm traveling the world, facilitating classes, going to Ukraine, going to Turkey to facilitate classes. I did classes in Europe, in Italy, Netherlands, in South America, Central America, in Canada. I mean, it's been such a gift. And seeing the transformation of people. And it's time for our third and final break of the show. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the problems or not having a problems, joy of it, or joy of ease, joy and glory. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. We will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is joy of problems. And in the first three parts, we were talking about that problems are not problems until you actually call them problems. And instead, if you look what's underneath, you'll see a lot of lies, a lot of made up stories. And the stories are the ones that are so valuable to us, which keeps the problems in. Just wanted to remind you that this is not the last show. And the podcast, Creating Abundance with Ease, with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network, is every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, 12 o'clock Eastern, and depending where you are in the world, you can look up the time on a time converter. There is one on Google. There is multiple different programs that you can convert. I know in Ukraine it's 7 p.m. But again, depending on daylight saving time, some countries go into change. So don't quote me on that. Just tune in, and you can always listen to the recordings. And they go to over 250 platforms under Inspired Choices Network. And you can sign up for the podcast to have notification for the next ones, just reminders. And you can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, 50 different TV stations, including Binge TV, etc., etc., etc. So just search for Helen Gitlevich or Creating Abundance with Ease, or just Inspired Choices Network. And we have an amazing app on iPhone and Google and Android, where it's you can just have it in your pocket and listen to recordings, to podcasts. We have so many hosts, not just me. And you can find out more about where I am in the world on creatingabundancewithease.com website, on Access Consciousness website. You can also find me on most of the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Just saying, or email me and connect on Telegram, WhatsApp. I'm everywhere. I actually have a Telegram chat for Russian speaking specifically, where there are announcements of classes in Russian for people who do not speak English. So there is a lot of ways to connect with me. It's not a problem to connect with me. What if nothing is a problem? What if everything is just a choice? And it's not a wrong choice. It's not a bad choice, just a choice. And as I started talking about this life as just a play and the roles we play, what if we decide to change a role and talk to the producer or director and say, and guess who is director and producer of your life? I'm pointing at myself, because each one of us is director and producer of our lives. We can change our roles. Just choose something different. We can take off the clothes that we're wearing and think about it. Let's say even when you're wearing clothes, you're in health club wearing your exercise outfit. You feel different than when you have an evening gown or tuxedo and you play a different role. What if our life is the same way? What if we can change and choose something different? I know changing clothes is simple, but what if choices in life are as simple as changing your clothes? As Gary Douglas says, when we ask him what's a choice, he says, do you know how to change your underwear? Yeah, we do. What if choices and making a different choice is that simple? I remember years ago when I was still in kind of like space of I don't have a choice. And the woman said, yeah, not having a choice is still a choice. Holding on to your problems is still a choice. It's not the wrong choice. It's not a bad choice, just a choice. Maybe not the brightest choice in the moment, but it's still a choice. And my invitation to you right now, just look and see what's in front of you. Look at all your problems. And instead of looking at them as problems, look at them as opportunities. Opportunities for growth, opportunities for change, opportunities to change something and create something different. We have only a few minutes left in the show. Just want to remind you to connect and join me next week. And also start being you, not some imaginary character that you've created throughout your life, not the imaginary character that other people have an idea or project on you and you play that role for them, but that actually starting to ask questions. Who am I? What am I? Where am I? Why am I? And all of those are just programming. And what if you can let go of the programming and just be you? How much more fun your love and life would be. It's interesting how our bodies are so smart because I was going to say life, but my body said love. And it's actually energetically, that's what it is. Because the more we become us, the more we drop the roles, drop the problems, drop the hardships, the more we become us, life becomes different adventure. What if that's simple? I love mantra of access. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. It doesn't say only the good stuff or the bad stuff. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. What if you choose that? What if you choose ease instead of problems? What if you choose joy of life instead of joy of problems? How much it would change how you look at the world, how things show up in your world, and how much our planet would be different. What if for our planet to survive, all we need to do is to choose joy, ease, happiness, love, gratitude. Thank you. And see you next time. Same place, same time. Love you all and grateful for every one of you who've been listening now and in the future.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life. and start creating magic in your life and your body.